What is going on, everybody? We're here. We're live for Monday evening quarterback, and we had some wild games yesterday, including a game that was honestly awful to watch with the Cowboys and the Commanders. It was brutal.
Oof.
It was a
Yeah.
pathetic game. And
Except for the
Jaden
last
Daniels,
3 minutes.
Jaden Daniels had like 70 yards passing up until about 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. When the Dallas Cowboys just kept playing like prevent defense, and the Redskins kept scoring, and then the Cowboys kept scoring on special teams. That's how it seemed to go for the next 3 minutes of game time, which lasted about 30 minutes.
Yep.
Saquon Barkley had one of the best nights we've ever seen, a historic night from a rushing yards perspective for the new Philadelphia Eagles, Saquon Barkley, who has propelled himself with that performance into MVP discussions. And yeah, of course, the Bears finding another way to lose. It's been 5 straight now. You got to find new ways to lose. You couldn't get a field goal block to lose the game. You had to get one blocked early on in the game. But you had to waste a great performance from the rookie quarterback, and the Bears find a way. I don't know how they're going to lose on Thanksgiving. That's really what I'm trying to figure out in my head, because not like you have a lot of time off. The Bears play Thanksgiving against the fucking Detroit Lions in Detroit. Don't think that's going to be an easy one for them, but knowing this team, they'll somehow be in the game. And I don't know, maybe to be a last second DeAndre Swift jumping towards the end zone, jumping towards the pylon, and it gets ruled a touchdown and then reviewed, and they find out he actually fumbled and it went through the end zone and turned it over, and that's the end of the game. That might be how they decide to lose next week. I don't know. There's always a chance. There's always a chance. And that is in 3 days from now, Thanksgiving. I just hope that they lose and Matt Eberflus is fucking fired in the middle of the season. I want that cocksucker gone. Can't win one-score games. Can't win on the road ever. And also, he can't even fucking challenge plays. He's 0 for 4 on coaches' challenges this year. And he was asked, why'd you throw that flag, that play? Jordan Addison caught that ball. It went for like 69 yards, and you were throwing a flag hoping it would only be about a 45-yard pass. He's like, well, explosive plays, you got to take the chance even if we don't have the best view at it. You dumb bitch. You dumb fuck. Fuck you. Wasted time out there, Matt Eberflus, you cocksucker. But anyway, we'll talk about that. Let's talk about Saquon Barkley first, because Saquon Barkley had over 250 yards rushing last night. That's good enough to place him in the top 10 of single-game rushing performances of all time. Now, 2 of those came, I think, on 70-yard runs after change of possessions from the 30-yard line. 2 70-yard runs that I remember him popping off during the night. Over 250 yards rushing. And as you said, he is very close. He's on pace right now, which, of course, after a 250-yard game, it's going to put you on pace for things like this. But he's got an outside shot at Eric Dickerson's 40-year-old rushing record, which is crazy.
Yeah. So we were talking about before the stream started. Saquon Barkley's had himself a hell of a year. I believe I said it on Sports Wars. I definitely said it on Game On yesterday morning, but I think I also repeated myself yesterday on Sports Wars. His prize picks was like set at 95 rushing yards. I said he's going over. Take more on prize picks for Saquon going over that 95 and a half rushing yards. And he did. He rushed for 250 yards last night. Saquon is having himself a hell of a year. Granted, a lot of people, here's the discussion: New York Giants, Daniel Jones, paying Daniel Jones, letting Saquon walk, franchise tag, him denying it, whatever. The Eagles' offense and offensive line is on a completely different level than the New York Giants. If you're to think that if we were to franchise tag Daniel Jones and if the Giants were to sign Saquon long-term, if he'd be producing at the caliber he is right now for the Philadelphia Eagles, you're probably absolutely fucking brain dead retarded. Saquon is having himself this kind of year because the Eagles have a stellar offensive line, and they have for the past 3 or 4 years. But Saquon Barkley absolutely does elevate that entire offense. That offense last year was completely deflated. What they do at the end of the year last year, the Eagles went on like a 5 or 6 game losing streak. They looked really fucking bad towards the end of the season last year, and then they went and exited the first round against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the wild card weekend in Tampa. Saquon, yes, is on pace right now to break Eric Dickerson's single season rushing yards record, which I would not be surprised if they do, because their entire offense seems to revolve around Saquon Barkley. Yeah, A.J. Brown had some big plays last night. Jalen Hurts, obviously great athlete, not a great quarterback, great athlete. Their offense is Saquon Barkley. The Eagles are rolling right now, and we're seeing the Washington Redskins are kind of, the league might be figuring them out. The bullshit, dog shit Dallas Cowboys, the Cooper Rush-led Dallas Cowboys, embarrassed the Redskins yesterday. And I know we'll get into that. But a lot of interesting games yesterday. Some games that we were totally dead on right about. And some games where, there were some surprises, like the Tennessee Titans and Houston Texans game yesterday. That was interesting as well. So anyways, Saquon, he's a fucking beast. Honestly, if the MVP weren't low-key a quarterback award, Saquon Barkley is right up there, and I think he deserves the MVP of the league this year.
Yeah, right now, the only legitimate candidates for MVP at this point, Saquon betting odds were about plus 5,000, plus 6,000 maybe before this game. He rocketed up to like plus 650. Obviously, a big game like that, maybe a little bit of an overreaction, but he's certainly been important to this team. He went on a team that already had good talent and was a good team, and obviously he elevates it. Right now, Josh Allen, the betting favorite, Lamar Jackson, Saquon Barkley, and Jared Goff kind of round out the top 4. But I did have to play this because this always makes me laugh. I'm sure you'll enjoy it as well.
Of course.
This was
I've seen this about 100 times. It's been sent to me so many times from friends and people on Twitter. Yeah, I've seen this.
This is the Giants executive sitting there when, Saquon was might be getting an offer from the Bears. He might be going to the Giants, and they were still trying to or might be going to the Eagles. And they were trying to find a way, see if they could keep him. And this was the response.
What's the latest? Just on the Saquon thing.
I just got a text that Chicago's driving the price up and Philly's out. I don't know if that's true or not. Which I don't know. I'll make a couple of calls. I don't even know if that's gonna happen, but
I have a tough time sleeping if Saquon goes to Philadelphia. I'll tell you that. As I've told you, just being out.
Right now, pause it.
Players.
Joe Schuen's butthole is fucking puckering right now, telling fucking John Mara about this, and hearing John Mara's thoughts about Saquon going to Philly. And all of that false information that Joe Schuen is giving John Mara. He is fucking sweating. His butthole's puckering. His fucking toes are curling. Dude, what a fucking idiot.
Yeah, because this is for you guys that don't know, this is the Giants owner here. He said, I'm going to have a tough time sleeping at night if Saquon goes to Philly. And he says he's by far the most popular player we have. He's the best player we have. It's not going to sit right with me if he goes to Philly. Well, that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
So they are kind of in hell right now.
Yep.
Kind of in hell. Our man Dom H with 5 gifted Sports Wars memberships. Thank you very much, Dom. And then Emilio drops 20 gifted members in the chat. Shout out to our man Emilio. Thank you, man. Stephen De Leon, hashtag Bills Mafia. Fuck Beardo and High Ryan's hair. Bills have a bye this week?
The Bills.
Yeah, they didn't play Thursday, so they must be on their bye week. So.
Yeah. So Thursday was Browns Steelers. So yes, the Bills are on a bye week as well as the Falcons, the Bengals, the Saints, the Jets, and the Jaguars are all on a bye this week.
Health Minister of Belgium for 5 Beard. I want to hear you passionately sing the Eagles fight song. How much of a super chat would it take? P.S. Hi Ryan.
I'm good. How much of a super chat? A proper 199 super chat, and I'll do the Eagles fight song.
$199, and
Correct.
you fly Eagles fly.
Correct. Yeah.
I think we're gonna slowly see Beardo morph into an Eagles fan over the next couple of years.
No,
because he's just gonna follow Saquon.
That ain't happening.
Be like Jeremy and just root for whatever whatever team this random player's on.
That ain't fucking happening, no.
Dominion Zephon, member for 2 months. Thank you, Dominion Zephon. Appreciate it. But might as well start getting into some of these results because a couple games that went kind of to be expected, but there were a lot of close games and there were a lot of wild finishes and a few surprises along the way. Let's start off with my Chicago Bears. Bears. So I picked the Vikings to win. I thought that the Vikings would win the game, but it continues to come down to just the Bears finding ways to lose. I thought Caleb played really well. He took a bad sack in overtime, but they came down from 11. Well, they were down more than 11 points at
Holy
one point,
fuck. Will, why are you doing this to me, Will? Will, I thought we were cool, man.
Game on sports news and picks. Look at that.
Fucking
Or
Will.
199.99. I
don't even know.
Super chat.
I don't even know how the fight song goes.
I know you know the beginning.
Yeah, it's fly, Eagles, fly. It goes to the beat of Sweet Caroline, right?
I don't know about that.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
On the road to victory. Fight, Eagles, fight. Score a touchdown. 1, 2, 3.
Hold on.
I'm just gonna make it up, you know.
You didn't get paid to do it. I did.
Just like doing an example for you.
Okay. Son of a bitch. Fucking Will, dude. I thought we were friends. Fly, Eagles, fly. On the road to victory. Fight, fight, fight. Fight, Eagles, fight. Score a touchdown. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hit 'em low, hit 'em high, and watch our Eagles fight. Fly, Eagles, fly. On the road to victory. EAGLES, Eagles. Fuck!
Hey, that was good. I think you got the makings of an Eagle fan yet.
Nah, fuck
you just
that.
gotta get
And
your...
Will, fuck you. I hope you lost every single fucking bet you placed this weekend, Will. Son of a bitch. I thought that was my homie.
You just got to get ready to do a little bit more booing Santa Claus, throwing snowballs at people. And you really got to work on your Philly fan lifestyle. But other than that, you got all the makings of a proper Eagles fan there.
I gotta start working on mugging people and beating the shit out of people and stealing and just criminal activity if I want to be an Eagles fan.
That's right. Hang out with Raiders fans probably helps.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. They're in Vegas now. So, but thank you very much for that 199 super chat from Game On Sports News and Picks. Go check.
Did you see what he said?
What did he say?
That's the money I won betting against the Giants this weekend.
Tampa Bay beat the fuck out of you guys. And Baker with the Tommy DeVito. Baker.
We'll get into all that. We'll get to it. We'll get to all that for sure.
But in this game, man, the Bears had so many opportunities. Wouldn't you know it, after losing a game to a blocked field goal, the very next field goal attempt got blocked in the very same fucking way. Not even shitting you. Exact same side of the line of scrimmage that was weak. The coaches, some of y'all ain't coaching. You ain't doing anything. Matt Eberflus, you fuck. After the game today, he was like, well, you know, we really have to, I'm going to start getting a little more involved, pay a little more attention. Go fuck yourself, Matt Eberflus, you worthless, weak piece of shit. I hope you drive in a fucking Lake Michigan and, oh my God. Anyway, so get a field goal blocked. Then defense makes a great stop at some point in this game and, you know, they kick a punt. Carter, our punt returner, says, hey, everybody stay away. Everybody stay away. The ball bounces like 3 yards in front of him, just hits him in the fucking leg, turnover. I thought Caleb played really well. Actually, to be honest, I think Caleb played extraordinarily well, considering you're going up against the Brian Flores defense, which this Minnesota defense has been one of the best out there this season, especially for quarterbacks. He was putting darts out there, lasering balls right in between two Minnesota Vikings, to his receivers, made a couple kind of crazy plays, athletic plays, including One where he escaped Van Ginkel, runs all the way out, throws it right before he goes out of bounds. Just a perfect lob over the top to DeAndre Swift. Had 2 touchdowns. Again, no turnovers for Caleb. Had a bad sack in overtime, which was kind of a result of Cole Kmet and DeAndre Swift both blocking the same guy and then both decided to release at the same time. But you can't hold the ball for that long. Should have got rid of it. And the Bears came back from 11 down with about, I don't know, a minute 30 left. Maybe 2 minutes left. They get the ball, drive down, score a touchdown, get the 2-point conversion, and then they get the first onside kick of the season that has been recovered. They get that. Caleb throws an absolute dart about 35 yards down the field to DJ Moore to set him up for a field goal after having one blocked earlier, and Cairo Santos fucking drills it. Absolutely drills it for the game-tying field goal.
Mm-hmm.
And then they lose in overtime. They pin him back deep in their own end zone or close to their own end zone with a punt. And the Bears defense proceeds to give up a 3rd and 10, a 1st and 15, and a 1st and 20. And they're right there in field goal range. Like those were the conversions that happened on that drive. Bears defense gave up 30 points. Caleb played well, though. Caleb played extremely well. The past 2 weeks, once they finally made this change at offensive coordinator that I've been begging for almost the entire season, Caleb has looked very, very good. So that's the one positive we can take out of this, that Matt Eberflus is indeed getting fired and Caleb Williams looks like a fucking superstar in the making. So,
yeah, I was really impressed with Caleb Williams through the air yesterday. And, yeah, this was a good, exciting game, man. Went to overtime, and both teams had possession. You know, the Bears had a chance to do it in overtime as well. I don't know. I don't have much to say. Like, you pretty much said it all. The Bears find ways to lose. So, and at the beginning of this game, when the Bears had that blocked field goal, I was about to text you about it, but I knew I wasn't going to get a response, so I didn't send it. But, you know, a hard-fought NFC North matchup. You know, all these divisional games are usually tough fought. And we've had a lot of divisional games this weekend in particular that were tough fought as well. I mean, ball don't lie. The Vikings are clearly the better team, although the Bears did play them well. The Bears are going to find ways to lose. Steven DeLeon does not like me. I don't know what I did to Steven DeLeon.
Half the time he does that to me too.
Man, I thought we were cool, man. Anyways.
Hashtag Bills Mafia. Yeah, it really is. You know, in this 5-game losing streak, they lost on the Hail Mary. They had a field goal blocked, and they after coming back from 11 down with 30 seconds left to go, in almost miraculous fashion, they lose in overtime. So how will the Bears lose next week? Tune in to Sports Wars.
Yeah. Which, by the way, Thanksgiving game, Bears at Detroit. Detroit right now, opening spread, Lions favored by 11.
Yeah,
I would. To be honest, I'll take that 11. I'll lay the points with that 11. I don't think this game's going to be fucking close.
I wouldn't. I mean, I would take the Lions to cover almost any spread, to be honest. But Mr. Kennedy for 5. Hey, Ryan, remember that part where Caleb held the ball for an entire 7 seconds, took the dumbest sack I've ever seen in my life? Superstar. Yes, Mr. Kennedy. I said that was a bad sack to take. However, are you just ignoring all the rest of the fucking game? The fact that this dude, they didn't run the ball at all. DeAndre Swift had like 30 yards rushing on like fucking 12 attempts. It was Caleb Williams. He was the offense. It was Caleb Williams that brought them back despite miscues, multiple miscues from special teams. It was Caleb Williams that brought them back. It was Caleb Williams that drove them down the field to put himself in a position to beat the Packers. It was also Caleb Williams who had the Bears like go into Washington and beat Jaden Daniels and that team until a Hail Mary, until a blocked field goal. So like, retards like you, and I do truly mean retarded fucks like you, if you're ignoring all of those lasers in between Minnesota Vikings players, Brian Flores is one of the most, even though shitty head coach when he was in Miami, Brian Flores is one of the most respected defensive coordinators. That Minnesota Vikings team is one of the best defenses. That's why I thought that the Bears were going to get crushed in this game. And Caleb played extremely well. Extremely well. And you know what? He should have thrown the ball away. I agree. He should have thrown the ball away. But that doesn't negate everything else that happened. But you, as always, you've always been here and you've always been a dumb bitch. So it's not surprising that you would once again be a dumb bitch.
I like you, Mr. Kennedy.
You're one of the most fucking retarded people that I've ever seen on Sports Wars. And that's saying a lot.
No, I like you, Mr. Kennedy.
I think you're a dumb bitch, Mr. Kennedy. If you can't look at what he's doing in that game and think that this dude's going to be a stud, you're fucking dumb.
Caleb is going to be a stud. Caleb is going to be a stud. He's a good football player. He's a good quarterback. He makes great throws. He goes through his progressions well. His offensive line is fucking shitty, and we're in the pros now. Okay, this is his rookie fucking year, and he's done the best he can with a shitty organization, with a shitty franchise, with a shitty head coach, a shitty offensive line. He's got some weapons around him, but if you don't have the time to go through your progressions to find your weapons that you have around you because you have a shitty offensive line, then this is what's to be expected. But Caleb Williams, yesterday, I seen a great display of Caleb Williams' full potential because he made some stellar fucking passes yesterday.
And some insanely athletic plays as well, to whether it was picking up third downs, the hurdle he had over the one defender. I think it was on fourth down that he picked it up. And yeah, that play, he should have probably thrown the ball away. He's trying to win the game because if they don't score on that possession, Minnesota is going to walk right down the field like they did the entire game, unfortunately, to the Chicago Bears defense. But again, Brian Flores, who've been bringing pressure all fucking game. They keep Kmet and Swift in to protect him. They had max protect on Caleb Williams. 3 receivers out there against 8 defensive players. And Caleb's trying to make a play. He took a bad sack after he got them back miraculously in the position to even go to overtime. I love Caleb Williams. Still a lot left to grow, but what we've seen with him when the proper plays are being called, it's outstanding. And anyone who says any different, you are actually a retarded person. So Caleb has had more help this season than Fields ever had. This is top tier cope. Caleb sucked at USC, and even USC fans knew, no, Caleb should have ran. There you go, Mr. Kennedy.
Caleb Williams won a Heisman Trophy at USC.
The Chicago Bears have had, I believe, 6 instances, maybe 7 instances. I think maybe 7 instances of quarterbacks throwing for over 300 yards in a game in the past, I don't know, 4 years. 3 of them are Caleb Williams. 1 of them is Justin Fields. 1 of them is Nick Foles. And 1 of them may be going back to Mitch Trubisky. So if you can't see, again, I'll say this again, if you can't see the clear difference between Caleb Williams in game 11 versus Justin Fields in year 4, you are retarded. Absolutely. And a couple balls bounced the other way. A fucking miraculous Hail Mary, a blocked field goal, and that we won't even consider this game. Those 2 things, and the Bears right now are in playoff contention. Now, I never thought that this was going to be a crazy world-beating team. I predicted the Bears at 8 wins. Now I don't see how you can get to 8 wins because the games have been mismanaged so poorly. But the fact that they're in these games and in a position to win is the biggest difference. Matt Eberflus is one of the worst coaches in the league. Shane Waldron, terrible fucking offensive coordinator, should have been fired after the first couple weeks of this season and was not. And that's what led to this. But I can't tell you something that your eyes won't let you know. You're probably just a hating bitch. And that's fine. You can hate Caleb Williams all you want. You can hate him all you want, but you can't sit there and watch what he did yesterday and be like, that dude sucks. Because if you do, I'm going to call you a retard because you're being retarded. But anyways, on to the team that's going to beat the shit out of the Bears next week, and that is the Detroit Lions. the best team in football, at least
They
probably
are.
in my mind right now.
They are.
In the best division in football. The NFC North is the best division in football, and it's not even close. Even with a losing record, the Bears somehow, I believe, still have a positive point differential. That tells you how fucking bad this team has been in terms of bad breaks. But the Lions, a little bit of trouble early on scoring, but then they broke it open with a couple running touchdowns. The Lions win 24-6 against the Indianapolis Colts. Anthony Richardson had a rough game. After having probably the best game of his career, Anthony Richardson had a rough game. Was a couple drops, couple things pulled back by penalties here or there, but like Anthony Richardson was 11 for 28. And they were down pretty much the entire game. It's like beginning in that second quarter. That Lions rushing attack is phenomenal. Jared Goff continues to be pretty damn efficient. I would pick the Detroit Lions to beat anybody in the league.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, yesterday we seen Anthony Richardson early in the game. They were trying to piggyback off of his legs and how he beat the New York Jets just last week. And this fucking ads popping up on my ESPN over here. And early on in this game, Anthony Richardson using his legs, getting damn near close to the goal line using his legs, got banged up. He was slow to get up, and then they kind of just gave up on that game plan with him rushing. There were some mistakes. They were trying to do some cutesy stuff like a little flea flicker, and Jonathan Taylor just like pretty much rolled the ball on the ground to Anthony Richardson on a flea flicker. The Lions are so fucking good right now. Jahmyr Gibbs yesterday, fucking stellar. And even when you had David Montgomery, right? David Montgomery, he went down a little bit. He got a stinger. So he went down. They didn't miss a fucking beat. Jahmyr Gibbs still crazy on the ground yesterday. They're just so fucking complete with that 1-2 punch in the backfield. And then you have the weapons. You have Laporta at tight end, Amon-Ra, Jared Goff. He's just a fucking stellar game manager this year in the MVP conversation. The Lions are so freaking good. Yeah, they didn't put up a 40 burger like they have week after week after week, but you're going to have those games, man. This is a not very good Indianapolis Colts team. And Detroit, they got the job done, man. I mean, what else is there left to say?
Hey, this is an off week for them.
Yeah.
That's how it feels anyway. Kind of an off week for the Detroit Lions when they don't put up 35, 40 points. But this team is built from the inside out in terms of they really focus on building this solid offensive line. Not only does that protect Jared Goff, but it helps you run the ball, whoever's running the ball. I love Dan Campbell as a head coach.
Me too.
I love the intensity that he brings. It's awesome. It's badass. And I on a neutral field, I'd pick the Detroit Lions against anyone in the NFL right now. In the best division in football. Patriots, Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa does what he does best, beat really shitty teams. The Miami Dolphins do what they do best, beat really shitty teams. They consistently, in this kind of era with Tua there, that's what they've done. They do it again yesterday at home against the New England Patriots. Drake May in that offense didn't look particularly great. They did pull out a trick play for some reason in the fourth quarter. I don't know why you'd pull it out when you're getting destroyed in the way they were, to not even to get you within 16. But hey, they were trying their best. But what do you think of Miami? I think Miami has a really good shot to make the playoffs just because of their favorable schedule.
I think so too. Yeah.
I look at this, and Miami Dolphins are sitting at 5-6. Packers, tough game. Don't think they're winning that game. Jets, 2 Jets games. Those are both wins. Texans, man, the Texans look beatable right now. The Titans just went down there and beat them. Like the Texans are struggling. Mm-hmm. And then 49ers, who are below 500, and the Browns, who you never know what you're going to get. So I definitely think it's feasible for them to make it. Right now, they're a game back of the Broncos for that final playoff spot in the AFC.
Right.
But I think they definitely have a shot to make it.
Yeah, and Tua, he's been spreading around the rock. I mean, you obviously you look at You look at Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, but Jonnu Smith got some love yesterday. Also, Achane got some love. Is that how you say it? Achane?
Yeah.
He picked up a lot of the slack yesterday. Same with Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith, 90 yards receiving yesterday and a receiving touchdown. So they're not just going to beat you with Tyreek or Jalen Waddle. They have weapons too. And as long as Tua's healthy, he's been playing really good football the past 3 weeks. So, yeah, I mean, absolutely. Their destiny is in their own fucking hands. They're not going to get any help. They essentially have to win out. Maybe they have room to lose one game, maybe, but they have to pretty much win out because, like you said, they're competing with Denver for that wild card spot, and Denver's looking really good too. But I like what I'm seeing from Miami right now. I've been a little harsh on them, saying that they still suck even with Tua there. The past few weeks have proved me wrong. They're looking really good. And for the New England Patriots, fuck, Gerard Mayo, what a fucking bum. His comments yesterday, I can't paraphrase his comments because I don't exactly remember what he said, but I know he's catching a lot of heat for his comments yesterday after the game. This Patriots team
said something, hey, look, as far as coaching goes, once those guys get between the white lines, there's nothing we can do for them. There's nothing
it's
we
on
can do.
them.
All they have to do is go execute. And it's like, well, I mean, yes, the players on the field need to execute, but you need to make adjustments. You need to go and talk to them if something's not working and figure out exactly what's going on. Walk them through it. You got to tell them off if they do something wrong. Like, coaches do have things to do during the game. I would love to hear the full context of the comments because maybe we just are looking at it the wrong way. But yeah, Gerard Mayo is catching some heat for that.
Yeah.
And you know, some of that is fueled by I hate some of these fucking Twitter engagement farmer, like the Dove Kleinman guy. Like some of his tweets are just so fucking insanely retarded, but it's for engagement. So some of that is being propelled by that. But yeah, he is catching heat for what he said. And this comes a couple weeks after he called his team soft in public.
Right.
So, yeah, Gerard Mayo having a rough go of it in his first year. I don't think anybody expected the Patriots to be world beaters this year or anything.
No, nobody expected them to be great, but some obvious rookie head coach mistakes when addressing the media. It's kind of crazy because he's been under the wing of Bill Belichick the past few years. You feel like he'd have learned enough, take something out of Bill's playbook where there's certain things that you just don't fucking say to the media because you're going to get blasted.
Yep. And like I said, Miami, over this little experiment they've had with Tua in this explosive offense, they've played really well against really shitty teams. And oftentimes they play really bad against good teams. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens. They're going up to Green Bay to play the Packers. It's probably going to be cold up there. Don't know how well they're going to deal with that. Let's get to some of these super chats because we have a lot of them piled up today. We appreciate you guys. Let me scroll all the way back here. We got that one. I think the Bengals lost to the bye week, says AJ Gutrung. The Bengals' only chance is to straight up win out. And if there's a team that can do it, it's the Bengals. Joe Burrow's played fucking incredible this year.
If the Bengals had a winning record, if they were number one in the AFC North, Joe Burrow would be leading the pack for the league MVP.
Probably. Yeah. If they had one or two losses, it'd be him and Josh Allen.
Correct.
Lamar's still in there. Lamar's numbers do look good. That's a 4-loss team. Lamar's numbers this year are better than his fucking last MVP season already. It's kind of crazy that he won last year.
Yeah.
Chris Coran for 2. Clip it and send it to Capable Gentlemen. The Fly Eagles Fly. That's right. Little Orphan Funkhauser. Beardo's the best Eagles fan since EDP 445.
Oh, jeez Louise.
Beardo's a closet Eagles fan. We knew it. He just needs to hate Santa Claus, and he hasn't.
I love Santa.
Health Minister of Belgium for 2. Beardo, 6 to 10 on the fight song. I owe you a beer. You got a beer out of it. Look at that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Joey Bag of Donuts for 199. Fear the Eagles fan.
Appreciate it.
Stephen De Leon, I'm about a Cowboys fan, but that game was nuts. You mean you're not a Cowboys fan? We are going to get to that game.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Ryan, don't copyright claim me when I clip that. I won't touch it. You're free to do with it as you will.
Thanks, Will.
But I don't know what Beardo might do. Anthony Landolfini. If you have to play Aussie rules football, if you have played Aussie rules football, you can play in the NFL. A lot easier. The Aussies have changed the kicker. if you play Aussie rules football, you can play in the NFL a lot easier. The Aussie have changed the kicker. Thank you.
Okay.
Jonathan Thompson, Ryan, I think it's great you're doing an interview with Keemstar. You're really coming up.
I don't look like Keemstar.
I don't think his beard's quite that long. Mr. Kennedy. We said this one. Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Rob Cortez for 5. Go Pack, go. 49ers can't beat us in the playoffs if they don't make it. We'll get to that 49ers. 49ers looked embarrassing, too.
Yep.
Obviously, Brock Purdy out. You're limited, but there's
Correct.
just a lot of miscues in that game. Kyle Brokaw for 2. At least you're not a Jags fan like me. Yeah. 49ers. I already said this. 49ers can't beat us in the playoffs. They don't make it. Go Pack, go. Typical Packers fan. Thank you. Thank you, Rob. Bucks covered the first onside kick against the Ravens. Did they? Did the Bucks get an onside kick? Well, then the broadcasters were wrong. John Getz, I'm a Steelers fan who is crying for Russ because I saw the same offensive ineptitude with Fields as with Pickett and Trubisky. Even the old Russ is greater than Fields. Yeah, and a bunch of like delusional people were bitching and screaming when Mike Tomlin made that change. Obviously, it was the right thing to do. Let's see. John Getz for 5. Steelers offensive line is also dog shit, but at least we have a long ball threat now. Need those young guys to come together in a back half and run/pass block. They had a lot of changes to the offensive line. They've had a lot of problems with continuity, but overall, they've been able to run the ball effective at times. And Russ is, other than last week, obviously, a snow game. How much of that do you really take seriously? I don't know if you really think you needed to make any big changes after a snow game that affects the game that much. But Mr. Kennedy spent $10. Shit talk Caleb Williams. LOL, someone lives rent-free in his head. Fuck off, smooth brain. Go Bears, fire Flus. We definitely need to fire Flus. No problem. I've paid $15 to trigger Ryan. Also, Beardo. Caleb gets 3 to 5 seconds per snap, which is actually indicative of an outstanding O-line. Stop this cope.
That's wild.
3 to 5 seconds per snap.
That's wild.
Like you, again, thank you for the super chat, Mr. Kennedy. It's hard to underestimate the level to which you are delusional. Has Caleb Williams held the ball too long, especially in the middle part of this season where they essentially told him, hey, we want you to be a pocket passer, stay in there, make the reads, don't run. Yes, he was holding the ball too long in the middle part of this season. But even you look at the game before yesterday, the Packers game, ball was out average of 2.4 seconds. The New England game, if you think that the New England game, it was just Caleb holding the ball too long, you either didn't watch the film or I will go back to it once again. You're a retard. You can maybe put 2, maybe 3 of those sacks on Caleb in some way. The other 6, he was getting annihilated and blown up before he even had a chance. Now, that was with both of their starting tackles out as well. But like only a retarded person would say that the Bears offensive line has been good this year. It's been abysmal. That's why they've adjusted, which you have to do to your personnel. Thomas Brown saw what Shane Waldron was doing wasn't working and said, hey, we're going to make this so, hey, 1, 2, go. And if you don't have the place to go, then fucking run. And that's what they've done. That's what they should have done probably from the beginning if you can't protect your quarterback. Alex McCarthy for 2. Ryan told me to pick Jaguar or Packers or Jags. I picked them both. I did tell you to pick. Can't have 2 teams. Can't have 2 teams. All right. Let's get to the next game. I lost my spot. Let's bring it over here. Boom. All right. We talked about those. Buccaneers, Giants. I don't think this one really needs to take too long. Your Giants got steamrolled. You had Baker Mayfield doing the Tommy DeVito celebration at one point. Dude, I can't tell you how much I fucking love Baker Mayfield. I would love to be Baker Mayfield's teammate, dude. Yeah. Whether it's him jumping on fumbles, whether it's him sprinting down the field to try to throw a block to give you another 5 or 6 or 10 yards, whether him hurdling in the end zone, sacrificing his body. I love Baker Mayfield, man.
I'm a big fan of Baker too. I just like his attitude. He's a fucking gamer and he loves football, man. And he puts his body on the line. Like you said, he's a good teammate to be around. Now to the New York Giants. The New York Giants, Brian Dable completely lost the locker room. There were several comments yesterday. Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, and Malik Neighbors. They are all done. They're done with the current regime. They're done with Dable. The Giants looked deflated yesterday, and not just because the Bucs stuck it to them. It's not like the Giants weren't giving their full effort yesterday. There was a play on the goal line where the Bucs fumbled the ball. The ball was just sitting there. Baker Mayfield recovered, and I forget what the outcome of that play, of what that drive was, if it was a touchdown or a field goal. Doesn't matter. The Giants don't fucking care. The Giants are done. The Giants were done the moment that they benched Daniel Jones and he requested to be released. They're done because they know their season's done. They're starting Danny DeVito over Drew Lock. Sorry, Tommy DeVito. Fucking Danny DeVito. Fucking Tommy DeVito. They might as well. Hey, they might as well be starting Danny DeVito. They might as well. They might as well be. No, it's because Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones.
I got you.
Yeah. Tommy DeVito. They might as well be starting Danny DeVito back there. But when you put Tommy DeVito instead of Drew Lock, they're telling the team, like, we don't fucking care.
That we're trying to lose.
They're trying to lose to get a higher overall draft pick. They're completely deflated. Fuck this entire regime. Get Dayball out of there. Get Joe Schuin out of there. They're fucking clowns, okay? Like, you wanted a dog. And I understand receivers can be divas sometimes because there's only so much ball to go around, and they want the ball to go to them. Malik Neighbors is a fucking rookie, and he's being vocal. He's not calling anybody out. But what he is saying, he's saying, it's not the quarterback's fault. It ain't the quarterback's fault. It wasn't Daniel Jones' fault. It's not Tommy DeVito's fault. He's like, so process of elimination here. Let's do some simple math. Whose fucking fault is it? And he didn't get an attempt until after the second half when they were already down 30-0. And then he started getting attempts towards him. And he was asked, what's about that? And he said, I don't know, ask Dabes. Yeah, it's on you. It's on you, Brian Dable. It's on you. Daniel Jones is only part of the problem. Brian Dable is fucking incompetent as a head coach. Maybe he's a good offensive coordinator. And that's the case for a lot of poor head coaches where they actually are good coordinators.
Well, that's how they get the job, right?
Correct. Yes.
That's how almost every head coach is going to get the job is, they were a coordinator.
They were a great coordinator.
Really well. They had a great defense, or they had a great offense. They get interviewed for the head coach spot, make sure to throw a black guy in there to meet the Rooney Rule requirements, and then they hire this guy.
Yeah.
That's how almost all these coaches get their jobs.
Right. And there's some guys where, yes, you're a great head coach and you're a great coordinator. But then you look at guys like Josh McDaniels, Brian Dable, Wade Phillips, who are great coordinators, not good head coaches, okay? And we found out with Brian Dable, not a great head coach. Good coordinator, not a great head coach. So he's going to find a job somewhere. I don't know if he's going to go to college or if he's going to find himself as an offensive coordinator somewhere in the NFL. He does not have it made out to be a head coach in this league. So for the Giants going forward, you already know my dream wish. I'd love for Bill Belichick to come to town. But I'm also looking at Mike Vrabel too. Vrabel's looking for a job. I'll tell you right now.
I like Mike Vrabel.
Vrabel, Belichick, and Pete Carroll, they're all going to be head coaches in the league next year. They're all coming back because those guys, Pete Carroll, Vrabel, and Bill Belichick, all got snubbed on being a head coach this season. You can kind of put Pete Carroll out of there because there was some kind of weird fuckery going on with Seattle over there. Whether he was going to take a higher position with the Seahawks. Those three guys, they're going to be coaching in the league next year. And I would love to have any of them.
Now, that doesn't really jive with your overall grand plan of losing the rest of the games this year, getting the number 1 pick, trading it away, losing all of your games next year, and then.
Well, if we get the number 1 overall pick, I've already said, if we get the number 1 overall pick, trade it away. Trade it away.
If you do, though, if you do pick a quarterback next year, who's your pick?
I don't fucking know. I don't care. I don't like it.
Shedeur Sanders paired with Coach Deion Sanders for the.
I do not like any of the quarterbacks coming out in this draft class. I don't. I think they don't have the NFL style. And you look at guys like Bo Nix. Bo Nix, he had the NFL style. He's been in NFL type programs in college, especially at Oregon. I don't think any of these guys, Cam Ward, I always forget his name, Jalen Milroe. I don't think any of these
3 prospects right now, according to most draft boards, are Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, no, they don't have the NFL style of play. They don't. I don't want any of them. The most exciting one, who's going to put butts in your seat, if you're an owner or a GM, is Shedeur Sanders. If you want to sell tickets, you want to sell jerseys, you want to sell hot dogs, Shedeur Sanders is the guy you want to draft if you want to make some money. But he's not going to lead your franchise to the Super Bowl. That's none of these guys are. Not even Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers is going to come out in the draft this year. Quinn Ewers, let me tell you about Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers last year, his draft stock was higher last year than it is going to be this year coming out. I'll tell you that. It had been better off for Quinn Ewers to declare for the draft last year than this year. He might have been a 2nd to 3rd round draft pick this year. When Quinn Ewers comes out and declares this year, he might go fucking undrafted.
Yeah, but no. Because there's only there's only going to be 5 guys that are better prospects than Quinn Ewers. He might be the 5th.
Right, I mean? But it's not every year. This past draft was an anomaly where we saw 5 quarterbacks drafted in the 1st round. That does not happen.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. Look at some of the starting quarterbacks in the league. Dak Prescott was like a 3rd or 4th rounder. Russell Wilson was a 3rd or 4th rounder. A lot of these guys, you only see so many 1st round draft pick quarterbacks actually fucking make it. It's like picking a needle in a haystack.
I don't know if it's fair to say they're a needle in a haystack, right? The idea expect success immediately, not necessarily. That's kind of a needle in a haystack where, hey, I found my guy who's going to be perfect forever. Whereas, let's look at these teams, all right? The Vikings have a 1st round draft pick in Sam Darnold, who's on his
okay,
fourth,
but that's right? Okay. I get your point. I get your point. What you're saying is once they develop, but I'm saying for a player to be drafted by that franchise and to stay with that team and develop with that team and be successful with that team, it's rare. It's rare. Yeah, you're seeing Baker Mayfield with Tampa, Sam Darnold with the Vikings,
Jared Goff with the Lions.
Jared Goff, correct. I get your argument. What I'm saying is drafting a quarterback right now, because for being the Giants, drafting quarterback right now and having him be the leader of your franchise for the next 10 to 15 years, not in this draft class. It ain't gonna fucking happen.
All right, let's get to this next game because it was fucking insane.
Anyways, fuck the Giants and fuck Brian Dable.
Jaden Daniels had, I believe, 70 yards passing with about 5 minutes left in the fucking 4th quarter.
Yeah.
And then this game went insane. As you can see, it was a dog shit game to watch. If I'm being real, neither of these teams really deserve to win the game. That's how it felt to me. But the Commanders end up falling short in large part due to some of the craziest final 4 minutes of a game I've ever witnessed. I want to go over here. Again, this is with Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush at quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Pretty pedestrian game throughout most of it. At the end of the 3rd quarter, it's 10-9. And then the Cowboys go on a couple drives. You get another field goal. You get a touchdown. And it feels like the game's fairly well in hand. You're up by 11. So, 2-point conversion and a touchdown, or 2-point conversion, touchdown, and a field goal. And you're fucking tied, baby. Well, the Commanders, after the Dallas, I don't know why Dallas started playing the way that they did. They definitely went into a little more conservative play calling than they had for their defense the rest of the game. Mm-hmm. They fucking made them pay for that because they kept driving after that point. This offense couldn't fucking move the ball the first 4.5 quarters, and then they went off. You end up having a touchdown from Zach Ertz after a long drive from Jaden Daniels. And then you're like, holy shit, Washington's back in the game. If they can just get a stop, they're back in it. And one of the wildest kick returns you'll see, the ball goes right through Turpin's legs, rolls back to the goal line. He picks it up, hits the fucking B button, does a spin move, and is off to the races. When it looked like he was going to get stopped around the 10-yard line, he takes it back, and you're like, well, fuck. All that comeback for nothing. I guess no magic is really going to happen. They end up getting a field goal, and then somehow they get the ball back. They stop the Cowboys, get the ball back on the 14-yard line. And Jaden Daniels throws a ball, probably about a 25-yard pass in the air to Terry McLaurin. He's surrounded by about 5 or 6 Cowboys, and none of them fucking touch him. He just weaves around, weaves right through him, and fucking houses it to the end zone.
Well, they were in prevent defense.
Exactly, 100%. But and they were worried. They were trying to be, he's going to get out of bounds. He fucking just went. Never went out of bounds. They thought he was going to go out of bounds. Didn't fucking happen. And he just went, and you're like, holy shit. Is this motherfucker Jaden Daniels really going to have another game like this? After the Hail Mary lucky bullshit, is this really what I'm about to witness? Because I had no faith in the Cowboys to drive the ball down the field in overtime. And then they fucking missed the extra point.
Yep.
Now, it was a bad snap, which that's to me, that's probably, it was a bad snap. The holder recovered it great.
Yeah.
But I think, like, going through your head as a kicker, when you see that, when you're looking there and you see the ball laying flat and skipping back there, that has to affect you, even if you're trying to let it nod. And Austin Seibert just pulled the shit out of it, missed the extra point. And then on the onside kick attempt, the Cowboys housed it. Instead of sliding down and just taking a knee to run the clock out, they fucking,
which was risky. It was risky for him to do that, but he he saw the fucking gold tape on the end zone. He's like, because the return men on an onside kick, they're protected by 10 yards. So he picked it up because you can't make contact. Washington cannot make contact with any of the return men for the return team. So he just picked up the fucking ball and went to the house untouched.
Yes. And you see Mike McCarthy, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right. He ain't never going to get that fucking chance again.
No, yeah.
The house. And they did end up getting the ball back down 8, had a little play to, get him almost in Hail Mary range, try to recreate that magic. Didn't happen.
Right.
Got picked off. And that pick, I don't even count against Jaden Daniels. Can't count that interception when you're throwing a Hail Mary at the end of the game.
Right.
He threw one early in the game. On a screen pass that ended up getting picked.
He ran a lot more than I thought he was going to yesterday. I thought yesterday was going to be a little bit more passing on the ground. By the way, Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler injured.
Austin Eckler died, dude.
He went limp, dude. He might have fucking passed the fuck out. Super concussed yesterday. I don't know what the fuck happened. He went down. He was just ragdolled.
It looked like Austin Eckler died. Like, it's literally what it looked like.
Yeah. Super concussed.
He'll be okay.
Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler, their 1-2 punch back there in the backfield, both out in yesterday's game towards the end. So, who the Redskins play next week?
The final score is not indicative of how this game went.
No.
I don't know if I've ever seen the last 3 minutes that were that crazy. Like 2 special teams touchdowns from the Cowboys, a crazy, just completely blown coverage, letting Terry McLaurin run for 50 fucking yards or more after he caught that ball from the touchdown. Then the missed PAT. It was wild.
It was like the Stephon Diggs miracle in Minneapolis a few years ago.
Yeah. I would say like
except they won that game.
They did win that game. But it was wild. It was a wild play and a wild game. But this game was shitty as fuck to watch for the first 57 minutes.
Right.
Aiden Daniels looked like trash. Honestly, for the first 3.25 or 3.5 quarters of the game, Jaden Daniels looked like shit. He had like 70 yards passing with 5 minutes to go in the game.
Yep.
Obviously a 90-yarder from Terry McLaurin helps him out there stats wise.
Give me a second. I'm gonna go take a piss.
Go for it. Chiefs Panthers. Now this game, we talked about it in the pregame, we both picked the Chiefs. I think we both said, take the Panthers to cover, not just because, the Panthers are so ferocious, they won 2 in a row. More so because the Kansas City Chiefs just have a tough time covering anything, especially now. And they had to drive down the field. Patrick Mahomes had to lead a game-winning drive for a field goal at the very end of this game because Bryce Young brought the Panthers back. Bryce Young brought the Panthers back in this game, and Chuba Hubbard had a rush with just under 2 minutes left to go to tie that up. And Patrick Mahomes does what he does, and very, very fucking coolly goes down the field, and they score. But this game to me is more about the Kansas City Chiefs and just some more of their struggles as opposed to the Carolina Panthers. Have to feel, if you're that Kansas City Chiefs defense, which has been fantastic for a decent portion of the season, you got to feel pretty shitty giving up 27 points to this Carolina Panthers team, regardless of the fact that it's at Carolina or not. And the Chiefs, once again, by the skin of their teeth, continue to win games. I wonder what the Kansas City Chiefs point differential is. I wonder if we can find that anywhere. Can we find that? See, we go to standings. It might actually be in the standings page. I think it is. Kansas City Chiefs. God, the Kansas City Chiefs somehow, some way are 10-1 with only a plus 52 point differential. That is wild. The Chicago fucking Bears have a plus 4 point differential, and they're fucking 4-7. They're fucking
right, I'm
4-7. Sorry, I was just talking about the Kansas City Chiefs with this 10-1, but they've got only a plus 52 in terms of the point differential. It's wild the close games that they're winning.
Yeah.
And I decided to depress myself more and see that, yes, indeed, the Bears have a positive point differential despite being 4-7.
That's wild.
Makes me want to kill myself even more. Look at Detroit, though. Look at Detroit. Plus
insane
177.
Insane. Look at the Rams. Minus 43. Holy shit. Look at the Falcons in first place. Minus 30.
Look at San Francisco, dude. San Francisco's 0.
Mm-hmm.
Panthers is rough for the Panthers there. But yeah, the Falcons are really hanging by. Like, the Panthers have had a couple blowouts, like where they've gotten blown out, and they've won some close games. But I don't think anyone else is. Oh, Bills are just over 100. Just over 100 for the Bills. That's crazy. Anyway, we talked about this game. We both said, I think, that Carolina would probably cover that spread. I think it was at a 10.5 point spread before the game.
Yep. Easy.
Not really a surprise.
Yep.
A surprise. Look at this fucking thumbnail.
I know.
With D'Amico.
Yeah.
Watching CJ Stroud step out of bounds. Before this game, when we talked about it on Sunday, I said, I think the Texans are going to win, but I think the Titans are going to make it really rough on them. I expected a close game. I expected the Texans to pull it out, though. And for Will Levis, another kind of viral pick six moment for Will Levis in this game. But they got it done. They had a couple big, long touchdowns, explosive plays against this D'Amico Ryans defense. And CJ Stroud just looks very uncomfortable. And a lot of that has been the poor offensive line play, certainly. But he also just seems a little bit out of sync with some of his receivers. Now, maybe Tank Dell being out with an injury has an effect on that. Maybe Nico Collins being out a couple weeks with an injury. Maybe that's having an effect on some of their timing, but they just look off. He just looks off.
Yeah.
And right now, the Texans, I think they're lucky to be 7-5.
Correct.
To be honest, with some of the games that they won early on in this year.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's how Will Levis has been getting it done the past few weeks, is like those big plays. It's like they're shit, and not much production, and then one big play to the house, and then they get some momentum. And they had a few of them yesterday against the Texans. So yeah, the Texans haven't been looking super impressive. They don't really have a true identity like they did last year, except for Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon's having himself a hell of a year.
Not yesterday.
Well, did he have a touchdown yesterday?
Joe
Mixon, he did not.
He had 14 carries for 22 yards. Overall, though, you're right. Like
overall,
Mixon, when he's going, that team looks completely and totally different.
Right. When he's on the field most of the time, this team is fundamentally different, except for yesterday. The Titans in the past few weeks, they've been staying in some pretty close games. So
Will Levis.
Will Levis, man, he'll make you mistakes. He'll look fucking stupid while doing it, but he'll make some big plays too. So he doesn't give up. So big surprise yesterday from Tennessee.
Yeah, the 3-8 Tennessee Titans. You want these fucking teams to win, Beardo, so you guys can get that number 1 pick.
True.
Yeah. Broncos Raiders.
Yep.
Now, hey man, the Raiders felt like they had control of this game in the first half. Actually,
initially, yes. Early on, the Raiders did have all of the momentum. And then in the second half, Bo Nix, they started to get some stuff together. Cortland Sutton and Bo Nix making that connection again. Gardner Minshew goes down with a shoulder collarbone injury late in the fourth quarter or late in the second half. And he officially has a broken collarbone. He is now out for the rest of the year. So a lot of the rumors and speculations, and even I said it yesterday morning, that the Raiders seem like a comfortable landing spot for Daniel Jones. What, are the Raiders going to ride with Desmond Ridder for the rest of the year? They could be, but
Aiden O'Connell was practicing today, so I think Aiden O'Connell might be ready to go again.
Okay.
Based on the stuff that I've seen and heard, I think Daniel Jones wants to sign with a contender as a backup.
Yes.
And potentially injury safety valve, Right.
I
think he's interested in going to Minnesota.
Baltimore.
And I think he's interested in going to Baltimore.
Maybe even Detroit.
Yeah, like I don't think that Daniel Jones is going to sign on to play to lose 4 more games with the Raiders.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me. I think he's going to try to go somewhere, be a backup on a good team, potentially have a chance to win a ring, and maybe have to step in a big moment. Yeah.
Who
knows?
Makes sense to me. But yeah, you're right. The Raiders looked like they were in control early on, and then it was all Denver Broncos in the second half yesterday. Bo Nix looks incredible, man. He's super comfortable back there, and he's making teams look silly with how he's picking apart with his legs. He's very mobile, and he goes through his progressions well. He doesn't just throw away unnecessarily. He can extend plays, and he's playing really good football right there underneath the Sean Payton regime in Denver.
I think Bo Nix, we'll see what happens. There's a really good chance Bo Nix, if he keeps this up, is Offensive Rookie of the Year, despite
100%.
the early start that Jaden Daniels had.
Yes.
Bo Nix in this Sean Payton offense has really just flourished, and he's continued to get better and better seemingly week after week. And if I were a young quarterback, I'd love to go to fucking a Sean Payton offense with what this guy's done in the league. And I think Bo Nix, older, more mature guy. We know he spent about 6 years in fucking college. And he is playing very well. He's doing exactly what the Broncos need him to do. So we'll see. Not a surprise that they beat the terrible Las Vegas Raiders. This game, not exactly a surprise either. Now, would have been interesting to see how this game would have looked different if Brock Purdy had been in. If Brock Purdy had been able to go, and Nick Bosa, if they had been able to go.
Right.
We didn't get to see that. We see the San Francisco 49ers show up with Brandon Allen. And I got to be honest, with some of the miscues and stuff they had anyway, I don't know. I don't know if they would have won the game if Brock Purdy had been there. I think that Green Bay is a better team at this point in time. I just do. This is a San Francisco 49ers team that we thought had all the pieces and all the personnel ready to go back on a potential run at the NFC Championship, potentially back to the Super Bowl before Christian McCaffrey. We heard about both of his Achilles. Well, that's fixed, but he's back. Now we got other injuries. And even when they've been healthy, they've looked underwhelming.
Yeah.
Now they're sitting there at 6 losses, and the San Francisco 49ers are watching their season slip away in front of their very eyes.
If the 49ers didn't play in the NFC West, their season be all but done. I mean, George Kittle had some big plays yesterday. He had a few big plays. He had a receiving touchdown. But the Packers look good on all cylinders. Their defense is great. Xavier McKinney, he's had several interceptions this year. He might even lead the league. I don't have the stats up in front of me, but I think Xavier McKinney might single-handedly lead the league in interceptions this year. Former Giant, by the way, who we refused to re-sign, is leading the league in interceptions. So he's a stud. Picking up Josh Jacobs as well in free agency. He had a hat trick yesterday, 3 touchdowns, 100 yards rushing on the ground. Fucking stud. And Jordan Love just has to play game manager. 23 attempts yesterday? 13 completions? That's all he's got to do. I
don't even think he threw a pick.
He did not throw a pick yesterday.
That's worthy of like a fucking celebration when Jordan Love didn't throw a pick in a game.
Jordan Love, he should be Nickelodeon's Player of the Week. Jordan Love. That's all he has to do, man. He just got to be a game manager because he's got a stellar defense and he's got Josh fucking Jacobs in the backfield. The Packers steamrolled the 49ers yesterday. I was not surprised at all.
Listen, you can only hang around San Francisco so long without getting AIDS because of all the fucking queers there. So maybe that's what's wrong with the Niners. They've got AIDS. This team looks like they've fucking got AIDS. Maybe they'll fire Kyle Shanahan. Would you take Kyle Shanahan as the head coach of your team?
Kyle Shanahan? I'd take him over fucking Brian Dable, but I don't want Shanahan either.
So say that your mythical world where Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel, and Pete Carroll all for some reason want to go to the New York Giants.
Yeah.
In this mythical world, what if they all said no? And Kyle Shanahan was an option.
Yeah, I'd take him. But he's not my first choice.
That's what I fucking thought. We'll see. I feel like there's a lot of anger and frustration brewing from the San Francisco 49ers fan base right now. And it has nothing to do with the fact that they can't afford their HIV medication. So, fuck the 49ers. Cardinals Seahawks. Now, this is a game we both got wrong, I believe.
Yes.
I think we both picked the Cardinals. You just fucking hate the Seahawks. So pretty much every game you pick against the Seahawks, period. I'm not necessarily that way. But, man, this looked like Call of Duty, Kyler, didn't it?
It did. And we mentioned it. The Cardinals were on a bye week. And Kyler had tons and loads of time to play Call of Duty this past week. So they came out flat yesterday, man. They came out They came out flat. And talk about boring games. This was a fucking boring game. Super fucking boring.
Yeah,
their DB Kobe Bryant had a pick 6, but other than that, this game was fucking boring to watch.
It was. Kyler had a really bad interception too.
Yes,
when he just floated. I think it was trying to hit his tight end and just kind of floated it up there.
Yes, chat. Yes, to Kobe Bryant. That's his name.
It's not spelled that way. Well,
it's spelled
Coby.
Coby.
Kobe Bryant. Yeah, just a kind of a boring game to watch. But the Seahawks are now fucking firmly in control, aren't they? Aren't they now leaders in the clubhouse of the NFC West?
You're going to have to check, but I wouldn't be surprised because the NFC West is real close right now.
Yes, Seattle Seahawks. If the season ended today, they would be in. Because everyone's either 6-5 or 5-6. The other 6-5 team is the Arizona Cardinals. Rams and 49ers are both 5-6, I believe. So, yeah, right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's who wants at least kind of division there, not who wants it more. But, yeah, not much to say about that. And then we talked about this game last night a little bit with Saquon's big day. Saquon had more yards himself than the entire Rams team did.
That's
Saquon
wild,
Barkley
dude.
had over 300 all-purpose yards. The Rams had 290 yards total in the game.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal by Saquon, no doubt about it. And the Eagles put a beating on the Rams. I picked the Rams mainly because I wanted us to have at least one pick that was a little bit different. But I didn't think they were going to get beat the way they did. But fuck, man, they could not stop Saquon Barkley. They just couldn't. He just kept housing them.
Yeah. Saquon Barkley had himself a hell of a night. That offensive line is just making Saquon look so fucking good, and he is. He should be in the MVP conversation. Again, Jalen Hurts just being a game manager. AJ Brown, they have tons of studs on offense. Their defense, all right,
Brandon Graham did go down. He tore his tricep last night.
And who's their other defender? Who's their other defender? Number 2. He went out with a concussion last night. Darius Slay. Yeah, he left the game. He left the game late in the second half last night with a concussion. But yeah, I mean the Eagles look really fucking good, and Saquon makes them look really fucking good. And this is also their first year with Kellen Moore as their offensive coordinator. So Kellen Moore, this proclaimed offensive guru, he's making the Eagles offense look really good, and he definitely knows where their strengths are and their weaknesses are. And Saquon is their fucking strength, man. The dude is a fucking stud.
Yeah, he needs to be the focal point of their offense. There's no doubt about that.
Yep.
And it was like, it felt very much, kind of back and forth, anybody's game. The Eagles scored in the final 2 minutes to go up 13-7 in the halftime. And the Rams probably like, all right, hey, I feel like we're in this game. Let's go out. Let's have a good fucking second half. And I believe the first play from scrimmage, well, maybe not the first play, because, maybe it was the first play. But Saquon fucking houses it. 7-yard fucking touchdown.
Untouched.
And you're like, well, fuck.
Yep.
Now we're playing catch up.
Mm-hmm.
And we weren't able to catch up. But yeah, Brandon Graham, just a little bit on that. Brandon Graham's obviously been with the Eagles for fucking ever. He seems old as shit. I think he might only be like 37, maybe. Maybe he's older. But he's out for the season, and you got to wonder if that's it for Brandon Graham. He's been playing very well this year for them at his age, and you got to wonder if that's the end for Brandon Graham. That's his season. But is this the end? I don't know. He may have been thinking that before the season, going out with an injury, maybe not so much. And then let's get to tonight's game. Preview tonight's game, the Harbaugh Bowl. Got Jim Harbaugh, John Harbaugh, Ravens, Chargers on the anniversary of their parents' wedding, by the way. So
wow,
they're not at the game. They're not at the game. They're in Florida somewhere celebrating their wedding anniversary.
Yep.
They're not taking part in this stuff.
Having old geriatric sex on their anniversary.
Who's got it better than me? Hey, honey, or I can't come. Nobody. There you go. Is that a peek into the Harbaugh sex life?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. But anyway, listen, Ravens, obviously one of the most talented teams in the league. They have struggled on the road this year. There's no doubt. The Chargers, after a little bit of a slow start, they have been on a roll. I love what Harbaugh has done to this team, to this culture. It's why I wish that the Bears would have fucking reached out to him in the offseason, actually talked to him before deciding to stick with Matt Eberflus, the fucking little bitch. Because this is what Harbaugh does. He comes in, he takes teams that have talent, and he changes the culture. He turns them into fucking winners. And that's what the Chargers have become. I picked the Chargers yesterday. I'm sticking with the Chargers. I do not know. Do we have an actual... do we know if Roquan Smith is in or out for this game?
Let me see.
It was going to be a game time decision. Roquan Smith is obviously a big deal for the middle of that Ravens. It
says, according to ESPN, says inactive.
Well,
as of
Roquan
today,
Smith is not going. So that is going to be Roquan is one of the best fucking interior linebackers in the game because we had him in Chicago and now he's with the Ravens. And that they might be feeling that loss a little bit in this game. He was supposed to be a game time decision. So we'll see.
Injury report. Is Khalil Mack playing yet?
I don't think he's supposed to be there this week, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not seeing it. I'm
taking the Chargers in this.
I'm taking the Chargers no matter what. Khalil Mack, he's not on the injury report. Unless he's on IR.
He's not on.
I don't see Khalil Mack. I do not see Khalil Mack on the injury report unless he's on IR. But he's not here.
Let's see.
But regardless, it doesn't matter. I was just interested in seeing if he was going to be playing. I'm taking the Chargers.
15 minutes ago, Khalil Mack returning to action. Khalil Mack will be in the game.
Okay, cool. regardless of if he was playing or not, I'm taking the Chargers tonight. I really like the way that they've been playing. Justin Herbert's in his villain arc right now. He's been playing really good. He's been playing a little scrappy. I like J.K. Dobbins. He's gonna be comeback player of the year. He's been rushing really good. So I really like the Chargers are on the up and the Ravens are on the down right now.
Yeah, well, we shall see what happens tonight. That's it for us.
Cool.
We're all caught up on Rumble. Let's see what we got over on YouTube. I don't know if I said this or not. Shadow saying my favorite player, Danny DeVito.
Me too.
Yeah. Cowboys Giants on Thanksgiving might be a good time to take a nap.
Yes.
Hey, Daniel Jones has a chance to do the funniest thing ever.
Yep.
But I don't think he will.
No.
Let's see. Beardo, the average time an O-line can block for a quarterback is 0.27 seconds. The Bears O-line gives Caleb 2.9 seconds. So who's the retard now?
Why are you addressing that to me?
Also, first of all, the average time an O-line can block for a quarterback is 0.27 seconds.
Yeah, the math ain't mathing up right there.
Mr. Kennedy, I encourage you to continue proving how retarded you are. Yes, the longest, most quarterbacks have less than 0.27 seconds to get rid of the ball.
Yeah, math ain't mathin', man.
You are truly a genius, Mr. Kennedy. Thank you so much. Congratulations. I appreciate the $20, and we appreciate all people, including disabled members of the community, to be in the chat. So thank you very much, sir. We salute you. We salute you. And that's it for us. We're going to watch the Harbaugh Bowl tonight. We'll see how it goes. We appreciate you guys being here. Had a pretty big audience for our Monday evening show, no doubt. Thanks for you guys that are watching on Rumble as well. And that's going to be it. You got anything going on, Beardo?
Nothing much, man. Just chilling, watching football.
There you go. All right. Thanks, guys. We will talk to all of you later. Peace.